Hello everyone, I'm Brofi1322 and in this video I'm going to be answering the question of do passengers have an effect on car speed? And the car that we're going to be using for this is pretty much the standard one that will be carrying passengers, that is the taxi. So during the best fully upgraded cars series, where I test all sorts of different cars around the same track to get a lap time for it, we found that the taxi got a lap time of 1 minute 17.2. Now the way that I did that during that series is by recreating my usual testing circuit in a deathmatch and using the extra vehicles that are available in a deathmatch that you can't normally use in a race and getting a lap time for it. So the way that I did this for testing for passengers is basically did the same thing. I started that deathmatch and invited a few of my crew members to help me. Now I really appreciate those guys helping me out because I wouldn't have been able to do this testing with them. They not only acted as passengers, but they also acted as spare taxis to bring me a spare taxi if I made a mistake, which was quite nice of them. But yeah, it didn't happen all that often, but as you can see here, they did help me with that as well. So thank you guys for that, I really do appreciate it. I wouldn't have been able to do it without their help. So what I did is basically exactly the same as what I would normally do when I'm testing a car, except the difference this time is that I'm testing the same car with different people in it. So I started with 4 people, then with 3 people, then 2 people, and compared it to the original lap time that I had for the, that I got from the standard testing. So this has always been known about bikes. If you have someone on the back of your bike in GTA, you will be going a lot slower. But it was always a bit of a question mark about cars. Did it have an effect on cars? It was very difficult to test or know for sure because the difference wasn't quite as big as what you saw on a bike. So here's the comparison between all of them. In the top left, you've got the lap that you saw from the best fully upgraded testing, exactly the same lap there, the 1 minute 17 with only myself in the car. In the top right, you've got myself and 1 passenger, so 2 people in the car. In the bottom left, you've got myself and 2 passengers, so 3 people in the car. And in the bottom right, you've got myself and 3 passengers, so 4 people, a full complement in that car. And this is the comparison between all of those laps. This is the best lap that I got in every single instance. And as you can probably already tell, there is already a slight difference. And it's pretty linear as well, which is something that surprised me, but I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, it's pretty clear at this point already that there is a slight difference between each, but it's only really when you look at the difference between having yourself and having 4 people in the car that you see such a huge difference in terms of performance. Having passengers in your car really does slow you down. So as you can see already, by the time we get to the final hairpin, obviously these were all synced up to start at the exact same time when they started the lap, and they will turn to black at the exact point that they finish the lap, and you'll see the differences in lap time. But as you can see already, there are big differences with, and it's a pretty linear difference as well. 117.2, 118.8, 120.3 and 122.0. So having a passenger in your car, certainly in the taxi at least, it adds about 1.5 seconds to the ultimate lap time that I achieved, regardless of in terms of the best lap time that I achieved. So here's a comparison now between having myself, the original lap that I got, and having 4 people in the car. So this is a full complement, and as you can see in terms of the lap times below, there's almost a 5-second difference there between those lap times, and you can pretty much tell straight away that the car with 4 players is much slower. It's not really that much different in terms of cornering, in terms of getting it around the corners, it's pretty much the same, but it's all about acceleration and overall speed really. So I don't know necessarily whether there is a weight factor involved or whether it's just hard coded into the game that for every passenger you have, the car goes X amount slower, because it is a very linear difference. About we got about 1.5 seconds slower for each passenger that we added, which is pretty strange that it was so similar in each terms. So we don't know exactly, we can't see anything in the code for this just yet. I haven't necessarily seen anything either, so we don't know exactly what causes it, but it's pretty clear at this point that having a passenger in your car will slow you down a little bit. Having a lot of passengers in your car will slow you down a lot. Obviously when it comes to the faster cars, you may not necessarily see such a difference. Obviously a taxi isn't quite as powerful as, say, a Zentorno, but having a passenger in your car will nevertheless make you slower than what you would be if you were on your own. So that's pretty much it, you know, that we got some passenger bonus clips here courtesy of Subaru Wolf, so you can see what it's like from a first person perspective as a passenger during my testing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We've pretty much shown in this video that having passengers in your car does slow you down, and yeah, it was pretty difficult, you know, pretty difficult thing to test, because you need to get quite a few people all together to basically sit in there and test it out and give up their time just doing nothing whilst I go around the track for half an hour or an hour testing all of these different things. So I really appreciate that, as I mentioned. And it's, if you want to see a little bit of extra behind the scenes footage as well, I'll leave a link to a video in the description. It's on my second channel, where you'll see a comparison, a side-by-side of my testing and a first-person view of the testing as well. Just a little interesting thing there. So yeah, ultimately, having passengers in your car does affect your lap time, does affect your overall speed in terms of pretty much straight line speed. So if you have a passenger in your car, you will be going slower, but you know, it's a small price to pay maybe for cruising around with your friends, who knows, but that's up to you. So yeah, it's that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave all your thoughts down below, leave all your comments down below. Was this a bit of a surprise, or did you feel like you already knew this? Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support as always. I hope this video has helped, and I hope it's been interesting as well. Thank you so much for watching. All the information will be in the description as well, and I'll see you next time.